Hi everyone, welcome to Startup Stars. We all want to start a business, but never had the courage to do it. We took this opportunity to meet up with different business owners to find out how they got started. And here with us today is Jeannine. Welcome. Thank you for taking this time to share with us about your bubble tea business. So tell us a little bit about TeaHee. How do you get involved? When you were a journalist and now a mixologist and a business owner.
Oh yes. Honestly, my friends around, even my family, they are quite surprised that I actually took this step, from a journalist and to F&B business. There's like totally no linkage to it. Alright, so maybe just some introduction about TeaHee. We actually started off as a bubble tea retail store located at Serangoon back in 2018 May. Back then, basically we took over another bubble tea shop. And then we just created our own branding and we started from there. Back then, there's actually a very huge struggle and dilemma for us. Yeah, because we are actually, me and the other two partners, we are actually employed full-time. Yeah, myself, I was a journalist. And my boyfriend, who is my another partner, he's working as a risk manager at a bank. Okay. And the other partner is doing corporate sales in a legal firm. So we totally have zero experience in F&B business. So it was really a struggle when we took over. We have to learn everything from scratch, from drinks, the designing of the recipes, from to operations. Yeah, to like sales, to finance, the accounting, everything you have to like really start from scratch, And I feel that as entrepreneurs, all of us are self-learners because there are just so many skills, new skills that you have to learn.
And it's quite interesting. I mean, you highlighted the difference being a journalist and starting your own business, but definitely there's similarity. I mean, being a journalist, you must be outgoing, quick, think out of the box. And it's the same as running a business. I mean, so how did your skills transfer?
That's right. Actually, I learned a lot from my journalism job. And the biggest learning point is actually to be resourceful. So I feel that being resourceful is the common value that's very important in both running a business and journalism. As a journalist, right, we must know like where to find certain contacts, where to look for people, where to look for like certain information. And same thing as a business owner, I also have to learn how to be resourceful, by let's say sourcing like the cheap ingredients, the right suppliers, the right business partner, the right contacts. So basically it's the same thing. And also there's a lot of self-learning involved.
Nice. I mean, I understand exactly what you're going through. But there's a lot of struggles,
Yes, that's right.
Manpower, resource, marketing. I mean, share with us the initial struggles you had. I mean,
to be honest, right, being an employee is so much easier. Yeah, because as a business owner, right, you are basically not just selling your products. There's a lot of back-end work to do. For me, I actually have a professional cert in mixology, but as a business owner, right, it's not just you don't. Other than ensuring that your product is of a high standard, you also need to learn how to operate the shop, in terms of like handling manpower, for example. Correct. So there's actually a lot of new things to learn from there. How do you actually interact with your worker? How do you ensure like there's a discipline? How do you ensure that the process, the operations run smoothly? There's a lot of such aspects to consider. And of course, whether the business make money or not. So there's often this saying that, right, business that doesn't make money is simply just a hobby. Yes. Oh. So right, when I started my own business, I finally understand that. Yes, I enjoy like mixing drinks together, creating new recipes, and I enjoy seeing the smile of my customer, but if the business doesn't make money, it's really just a hobby.
I really like that quote. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, what made you make that decision to leave the corporate world and take it up, man? And then the challenges, I mean, we have parents, you're like, hey, what are you doing? You have a stable job, why do you want to go across? So what made you take the first step and how was it with
Honestly,
family?
I was questioned by many people because actually I started journalism since I was 15. I was a student correspondent with Chinese people. So actually journalism to me, it has been accompanying me for like more than 10 years. Yes, from my student days all the way to my adult life, and it's also my very first job. In journalism, honestly, I still love the job even till today. Right? So why do I leave? Because I just want some new experiences in my life. and I just feel that I'm not being specific in like any company or industry. I just feel that in general, as a corporate employee, sometimes you just lack that kind of control over situation. And because of my personality, to me, the sense of autonomy, the ability to be able to control the situation is very important. So that's when I actually decided that, I want to exit the corporate world, and start a business of my own. Whether fail or success, I want to try it first.
So is it a little bit of quarter life crisis?
Oh yes, definitely, definitely. I remember on my 25th birthday, I was actually crying during the night because I just felt so lost in life. Because when we were younger, right, we always thought that, 25 years old is a magical number. Once we reach that age, everything will be okay suddenly. Okay. But no, the truth is actually the opposite. Just 25 years old is a time whereby, I was considering leaving my journalism career, and I just felt that, oh wow, that's something that accompanied me for like the past 10 years, and what am I going to do after I leave the job, and because back then the business was not doing very well. That's like 3 years ago. The retail business wasn't doing good. So I was actually having a very serious quarter life crisis and actually even depression. Yeah, because I just don't know where life will take me to. I'm feeling very lost and helpless. Yeah, the hopelessness was actually very overwhelming because I just feel that corporate world is not for me. I want to be self-employed. But starting a business at the same time, I'm failing. I'm not doing well. So where else can I go?
You are very strong-willed. I mean, you talked about the desire to take control and stuff. I mean, all of us would definitely want to do a kick-off now and have that checklist. Before I start a business, I must have these qualities, these capabilities. So what is your quality, your personal character that you believe enable you to succeed or turn around that failure to make it a success now?
Honestly, I'm a very high-risk taker. So I feel that it's not so important to like specifically, or I have to possess this value or this personality traits, then I can be a business owner. I feel that there's no such thing. Okay. Anyone can be a business owner. Most importantly is that you got to take calculated risks. Okay. I feel that that's the most important in like owning a business.
Risk. Investment. How much? I mean, do you have to take a bank loan how do you finance your business at the start or the onset?
Actually, by the time when we decided to close our retail shop, we already invested about 80,000. Okay, but of course the 80,000 is not just in the retail shop itself. It actually includes a lot of like other inventories that we actually brought over to this studio now. Okay. Yes, so back then this 80,000 actually it comes from our own pocket. Me and the other two partners. So basically for myself, it mainly comes from the profit that I made in the stock market.
How did you transform it? I mean, what made you go from retail and now you become you're running workshop mixing not only bubble teas, but mocktails and cocktails. I mean, it's a major transformation and about turn to what you were doing.
Yeah, honestly, I feel that in a business, there's a lot of trial and error. There's so many trial and error. So basically, at our retail shop, when things are not doing well, we actually started thinking of a new direction already. So that's when we realized that in Singapore, bubble tea is a very hot trend, even till today. But the problem is Singapore is lacking that kind of DIY element in this aspect. So you can buy bubble tea from many, many shops, right? There are so many brands in Singapore, right? Local brand, overseas brands, right? All kinds of different styles. But there isn't a platform, there isn't a place whereby Singaporeans, they actually make their own. So we actually came up with this concept and we started launching back then in our retail shop. And surprisingly, the demand was quite overwhelming. So that's when we actually decided that, why not we just rent a proper studio, and just start the business in a proper way.
Then you went through COVID. You went through the need to digitize and go online. I mean, how was it?
Oh yes, because we set up our studio in year 2019, end of 2019. And unfortunately, right, after 2 months we set up our studio, COVID hits. Okay. So it was quite devastating for us. It's like, imagine we already switched to a new business model. And then there's like another very huge setback that we have to face, right? So what we do is first step, trial and error. Second, we just adapt to the situation that we are faced with. So basically, we just shifted everything online because we cannot do face-to-face, but they're still online.
You're so bubbly. How do you maintain this positive mindset and outlook? I mean, how? Tell me how.
I think it's like when you are faced with struggles, and challenges, that you can't avoid, I think the only way out is really just to stay optimistic. But of course, I do have many times that I broke down. especially over the stress in business, and back then when I was a corporate employee, when I feel that, wow, the situation is really not within my control, the despair that I felt, was overwhelming. Just that sometimes we can choose, how we want to portray ourselves in front of others. But that doesn't mean that we haven't experienced that kind of setbacks and, things are always going well.
So I think being an entrepreneur, failure is a must. We all have to go through it, and it makes us stronger, and it's part of learning, trying, failing, learning, trying, redo, recorrect, readjust. So how have you now evolved into a consultant and advisor to people in Singapore and around the world? I mean, how did that come about?
Because honestly, in consultancy, right, people always share about success cases, right? They'll glorify the entire situation. They'll be like, you do this, you will definitely be successful, right? But in reality, I feel that that's not the case. You can do ABC and you still fail. So I feel that the consultation service that I want to offer, right, to aspiring business owner, okay, is first of all, I want to actually point out the possible pitfalls that they may experience. Because we were once there. We know how is it like to experience failure. We know the reasons as to why we fail. So I feel that the most important thing is we want the business owner first. Let me give you a specific scenario. All right. For example, including myself and my partners back then, we thought that, F&B business, right? There's a very low barrier to entry, right? So we just jump in without considering anything. And then we are like, this is a passive business to us, because us already have a full-time job. This is a passive business. So basically, you just left it to the staff. All right. But business don't work that way. This is what many people have this misconception that, I set up an F&B store, right, sour drinks and snacks. I just engage an employee to run it and things will just be automatic, money will start to come in automatically. But in reality, that doesn't work that way. It's quite fatal. It's quite a fatal mistake when you leave a business, which is at its initial stage, to someone that you don't know to run. I feel that that's the most fatal mistake that we make, and this is something that we always warn our clients about first. You must make sure you have sufficient manpower, the right manpower, before you even start a business.
Well, you talk about managing internally, but how about customers? I mean, they are your audience, your patronage, your participants. How important is it to manage them, meet expectations? I mean, how do you handle your customers? I mean, what's your approach?
For example, if we meet a stranger on the street, right? The first thing that we do is to self-intro. Let the person know who we are, right? I think it's the same thing for business. Your branding, personality has to be strong enough to let people know who you are and what are you doing. Like, for example, a retail shop, what exactly are you selling?
We live in a very digital world where there's always reviews, comments, and we have it in different industries, hotel, restaurants, where you do get the occasional negative response. You're the odd person that just trying to give a bad comment, or I mean, there are people out there.
Correct.
So as a business owner, I mean, how do you feel when you receive it and how do you respond?
I think the most important thing is we have to do our best, definitely, as business owners, right? A business to an entrepreneur is just like a baby, right? We'll do our very best to take good care of it. We definitely can't stop how outsiders comment about us, so long as we maintain the quality, of the services, so long as we do our best, our clients are able to see that.
If we can turn back the clock, go back in time, is there anything you would change?
I feel that I will start my own business earlier, because I feel that it doesn't matter what you do. Most important, right, what you do is suitable for your own personality. And for my personality, to me, the value that matters the most is actually the control over things, the sense of autonomy. So as a corporate employee, you can't really get that. But whereas as a business owner, right, even if things don't go well, you know that it's your own decision.
You talk about diversifying. I mean, every business has to find new opportunities. And you went from a retail shop to running workshops, mixing, and now you talk about character. You are working with schools. So that's a third evolution of your business. I mean, how did it come about and what good are you doing now with schools?
That's right. So we are basically promoting two things. Yeah, one is the Chinese culture. So basically, we promote a Chinese culture through like tea blending and even bubble tea making. So we actually share with our students like the Chinese culture, the interesting thing about Chinese culture through tea, you know, and somehow the lesson just got a lot more interesting because there's like hands-on for them, there's things for them to touch, to smell. And another one is actually emotional resilience. You know, like when I was younger, there wasn't much resources there, you know, to teach us about emotional resilience, right? School teachers, they are always like very engrossed, very focused on academic development. But when it comes to like emotional resilience, emotional awareness, I feel that it's still lacking in Singapore's education system or in Asian education system in general. So this is one thing that we hope to improve on, because bubble tea is something that the students it's something very close to the students. The students love bubble tea. You can see bubble tea everywhere in Singapore, right? So we want to use this bubble tea or even like just tea blending aspect, okay, to actually raise awareness in terms of emotional awareness. Like for example, we will pass like tea leaves around, right? And the tapioca pulse in the raw form. We'll pass it around, you know, the students can touch, can see, can smell. So from there, right, we actually encourage the students, you know, to focus on the present moments, you know, to focus on their senses. Actually, this helps to relieve the stress that they are facing.
So by smelling and this Chinese culture, what do the kids say? I mean, those who go through the course, I mean, what's the feedback you get from them?
They'll be like, oh, it's very fun. So always I tell them, okay, this is not just about having fun, okay, it's more about what's the takeaway,
Okay.
right, from these activities. So we will ask like students, you know, to design their own bubble tea using like food coloring, the spray cream, candies, you know, cookies, you know, and from that they're actually able to come up with their own story.
Okay.
And present it to everyone. So I feel that through bubble tea and tea blending itself, right, we are already able to actually integrate many different content that can actually benefit the students in numerous ways. So that's what we aim to continue, you know, and to improve further as well.
So Jeannine, you have 30 seconds. Sell us or sell your bubble tea workshops to our audience.
Hey guys, many of you thought that bubble tea is a very unhealthy drink, right? But the truth is, it can be made in a very healthy way using fresh milk, okay, and the various tea bases. We can add in many colors and creativity into our drinks, such as using fruit juices, soda water, syrups, and tea to make your fabulous beverage. So if you want to know how to do it, join us for our workshops. See you there!
Any advice to someone who is in your shoe, just wanting to start a business? What's your one advice to them?
Alright, so my advice to those young entrepreneurs would be just do it. Don't think so much. Many people actually have this urge to start their own business, right? Because same thing, they want self-control, they want control over situations, you know, they want to earn big money, right? They want a flexible schedule, but point is they will just keep thinking of the risk. What if I fail? So one advice is that you will definitely fail at any point of the time. But the key thing is that how are you going to overcome the failure and bounce back up? I feel that the most important thing is to be true to ourselves. Listen to your inner desires. It's not necessary to wait until the time is right, because there will never be a right time to do the right thing. Most importantly is we are able to adapt to the situation and to really be an action taker and to do whatever we want. Thank you everyone for watching Startup Stars, and stay tuned for our next episode.